Hey friends, this is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to talk to you about Venus retrograde. If you're looking for your daily aspects, you should probably back out of this video and go look for the video with the title that has the date on it. But this one is specifically about Venus retrograde, which begins on the 19th of this month, this Sunday, and probably tomorrow if you're watching this. And, let's just talk about some Venus retrograde. Let's just get straight into it. Venus retrograde begins this Sunday on December 19th, 2021. It lasts 6 weeks or 42 days until January 29th. Here are some basics. Venus is our planet for love and money. Or how do we relate to those people and things that we value the most? Venus relates very much to all kinds of romance, feelings of receptivity, adoration, and fulfillment. Let's put some love on there. And in much the same way, it relates to what we notice about our financial well-being. How much am I receiving? What am I paying for? And do I have everything that I need? So let's put some little dollar signs on there. Retrograde is the period of time when, from our perspective, sitting here on Earth, a planet appears to move backward along its regular trajectory. I say that it appears to do so because planets only ever and always move forward on their elliptical orbits around the sun at the same speed all the time. So retrograde is an illusion based on the fact that we are on one planet over here watching another planet going around the sun. It's literally all about our perspective. See how Venus is always on this trajectory around the sun, but to us it looks like it's going back and forth. And even out at these ends it would appear to slow down even though it's not. And those are the stationary phases. So Venus is in its stationary phase right now. As of Sunday it will be heading retrograde. Retrograde is an illusion and not a reality, and the perspective that Venus has slowed down and will appear to move backward for 42 days is something to keep in mind during our experience of the retrograde. Challenges may appear and appearances can be deceiving. If we're committed to the course we're on, in this case when it comes to romance and finance, then the challenges will arise and fall away. Think of the illusory nature of these challenges as opportunities instead. If you needed a reason to reassess the nature of your most valued relationships, you can use the challenge as an opportunity to give them a closer examination. The challenges that arise in our most treasured relationships right now are here to shine a light on what's working and what isn't working. So when that light shines, I encourage you to take a look, but with the knowing that you don't have to call doubt into yourself and your commitments. In general, in our love lives, this is not the time to make any in general, in our love lives, this is not the time to make any final decisions about a romantic connection unless it is clearly and obviously an abusive situation. There comes with Venus retrograde the possibility that we will meet a potential life partner or soulmate, a love connection with someone new who feels very familiar to us, or a connection with someone new that has the feeling of having been inevitable presents a good opportunity. In this case, though, it should be a simple matter of communication to delay any full commitments or hand fastings or wedding ceremonies until after the retrograde. And people, my friends, don't take back your exes during Venus retrograde, no matter how familiar or inevitable it feels. Ex relationships are practically bound to rear their heads at this time. It's okay to make amends or to have conversations for the sake of healing. Reminiscing at this time can be restorative for our hearts, but these relationships have already fallen away from us for good reason. Don't make the mistake of thinking something new is happening when it's really something you've already been through and been finished with. And of course, None of us is alone in this. Venus in retrograde affects everyone in the world, and since it affects us all differently, actual conflicts are likely to arise with our loved ones. So here is your reminder that conversations that devolve into shouting, slamming doors, throwing things, etc., are not conducive to proper review of what is or isn't working. Fighting definitely is not working, and I encourage us all to remember that and to walk away from fights. Instead, use that period of frustration to notice what you're thinking and feeling about the relationship. If we feel we're in danger or we're putting someone else in danger, putting the relationship on hold and creating physical space are good ideas. But if we just find ourselves wishing we had done better or that the other person had done better, this is a time to turn within. After all, we can only control our own thoughts and behavior, and we have a better chance at this when we give ourselves an opportunity to see what isn't working for us and to imagine what might work better. And I want to remind you at this time that this retrograde occurs while Venus is in the sign of Capricorn, which generally makes us more focused on the work we have to do than on our love lives. And that seems to me to shift the Venus balance of love versus money to the money side of the Libra scales. Of course, love still applies when our sense of romance applies more to our work than to specific people. Not everyone prioritizes intimacy and romance over our work in the world, and there's nothing wrong with that. The challenges that arise in our work and finances at this time are also here to shine a light on what is and isn't working. Think of this as an opportunity to fine-tune your approach. What can you do to be receiving more? Also, what can you do to need less? Financial abundance isn't just about having all the money you could ever want or need for any eventuality. It also relates to living within your means and finding that balance between what you want and how much work it takes to get it. And I realize saying this, that living within your means is a laughable statement to many people, as many jobs, especially the kind we love to do, don't really pay enough to cover the basics. And furthermore, many of us do unpaid domestic work or we live on a fixed income. One of the things that is coming up with this retrograde is the possibility to be able to notice opportunities as they come in. You may even land a dream job or at least a major step up in responsibilities and compensation. Take only those opportunities that feel great. And in fact, if you can wait to commit until after the retrograde, say February 1st or after, this would be best. There is clarity to be gained from asking someone to wait in regards to how they behave when they're impatient or disappointed. Also, keep your eyes peeled for opportunities to receive that aren't jobs. Perhaps you have a great and original idea that will help you share more of yourself with others and potentially bring you some compensation. Now is not the time for starting major projects, but there's nothing wrong with giving the start a lot of thought and planning. Sometimes we have to prepare our seeds before we plant them. And just like we don't go back to our exes during this retrograde, we also don't go back to old paid positions, old jobs. If we left a job, it was for a good reason. Going back is just begging to relearn something you already know. And of course, if some of us are struggling financially, then lots of people are. Look for communities and groups that share resources. You don't have to commit yourself for life in order to give and receive help at this time. We are social creatures, we rely on one another, and no one really does it alone. So there's no shame in asking for what you need or receiving from a resource that is available. So, in review, things we do during Venus retrograde. We ask questions about our relationships of value. Love and finance, friends. What do you value? That is, what do you like, love, and always want more of? Are you receiving what you value? And what simple things can you do to receive more? Are you giving similar value when you receive? And what simple thing can you do to give more value? In other words, what can I do to be a better partner in love or in finance? And when we become frustrated, we take some time alone to reflect, journal, and consult with our intuitive resources. Friends, we don't always like to have to think about the people and things we value in terms of whether we're giving enough or receiving enough. We don't like to call those relationships into question, and the fact that they do come under review makes us uncomfortable. So understand that when Venus is in retrograde, we choose to spend more time with ourselves because we're processing a lot of feeling and intuition. That work is necessary, and if we avoid it, we risk spiraling out into panic mode. Which brings me to the things we don't do while Venus is in retrograde. We don't panic and run away unless someone is abusing us or we find ourselves being abusive. We don't end our long-term relationships. And hey, also don't burn any bridges right now. No bridges, no houses, no cars. Let's not set anything on fire right now. And with all of that said, I want to talk about Chiron direct and some other aspects that will have an effect on this retrograde period. I'm going to put that in a second episode, so look for that one, aptly titled Venus Retrograde Part 2 or something like that. Thanks for tuning in, friends. I'm Melanie Rose, and I'll catch you in the next video.